The empty chase. We live in a world obsessed with more wealth, more status, more followers, more possessions. And yet, the more we chase, the emptier we feel. It's like drinking salt water. The thirst never ends. But what if happiness was never about getting more, but learning to want less? The Stoics believed that the secret to a good life was not in endless acquisition, but in mastering the art of contentment. Today, we dive into their wisdom to uncover why you don't need more to be happy. Setting the stage. Rome of wealth, and want to understand this philosophy, picture ancient Rome. The empire was overflowing with riches, lavish feasts, sprawling villas, golden statues. Senators dined on exotic delicacies, while poets and philosophers lived in modest quarters. The city itself was a paradox of wealth and poverty, of excess and suffering. And it was here, in this world of extremes, that Stoic thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius observed a simple truth. Those who had everything were often miserable, while those who had little but lived wisely were often at peace. The problem wasn't how much people had, it was how much they thought they needed. The philosophy, happiness from within. The Stoics drew a sharp line between externals and internals. Externals were things like wealth, fame, possessions, and even physical health. Internals were your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your character. Externals are not truly ours. They can be given, taken, destroyed, or lost in an instant. You can build a fortune today and lose it tomorrow. You can be praised in the morning and mocked in the evening. You can be healthy in youth and frail in age. If you tie your happiness to these externals, you will live in constant fear because they are never secure. Internals, however, are yours forever. Your ability to choose wisely, your ability to judge calmly, your ability to act with courage, kindness, and reason. No emperor, no storm, no twist of fate can take that away. And if happiness depends on what is yours, then true happiness comes from within. The Stoics didn't reject wealth or success. They simply refused to be enslaved by it. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, yet he wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The craving for more is the root of misery. The acceptance of enough is the root of peace. The Stoic example, Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Seneca, was surrounded by luxury, yet he warned against it. He saw how indulgence numbed the mind and made people weak. In his letters, he advised practicing poverty, eating plain food, wearing simple clothes, so that wealth never held power over you. Epictetus had no wealth at all. Born a slave, lame in one leg, owning almost nothing, he still declared himself free. For he realized that freedom was not about possessions, but about mastery of the will. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants, he taught. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, commanded armies, ruled nations, and lived in palaces. Yet in his private journal, Meditations, he reminded himself daily that riches, fame, and power are fleeting. He wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Here were three men, one rich, one poor, one powerful, yet all three discovered the same truth. Happiness is not found in more, but in contentment with what is already enough. The Stoic tools, how to be content. But how do we practice this? The Stoics developed exercises to train contentment, gratitude. Each day, Remind yourself of what you already have. A roof above you, food before you, air to breathe. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Simplicity. Learn to delight in little. A simple meal, a quiet walk, a moment of silence. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Perspective. See life from above. Imagine looking down on the earth, your wealth, your problems, your desires, all shrinking into insignificance. From that view, you realize how little you need to live well. Negative visualization. Picture losing what you have, not to cause fear, but to strengthen gratitude. If you imagine the loss of health, family, or possessions, you learn to cherish them more deeply in the present. These practices train the mind to stop grasping at more and to rest in the enough. The illusion of more. Why enough is plenty. The pursuit of more is endless because the target keeps moving. Today you crave a better job. Tomorrow it's a bigger house, then a faster car, then more recognition. Each time you arrive, you feel a brief spark of joy, then it fades, and the craving returns. This endless cycle is called the hedonic treadmill. The Stoics warned of this trap. Chasing externals is like filling a jar with holes. The more you pour in, the more it leaks out. Real happiness requires sealing the jar by changing your desires. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. You do not need more. You need less desire. You need less comparison. You need less fear of losing what was never yours to keep." Stoic anchors. Wisdom on happiness. Let's hear their voices directly. Seneca. "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Epictetus. "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Marcus Aurelius. "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself." These are not the words of dreamers. They are the words of men who lived through exile, illness, betrayal, war, and empire, and still found peace. Closing reflection. True wealth. So why don't you need more to be happy? Because happiness was never about more. It was about mastering your mind, guiding your choices, and learning to want what you already have. A man with little but who is content is wealthier than a man with riches who is restless. A person who owns their desires owns the world. The Stoics teach us that life is short, fortune is fickle, and externals are unstable. But the one treasure no one can steal is your reasoned choice, your judgment, your virtue, your will. Happiness, then, is not found in chasing endlessly after more. It is found in stopping, breathing, and realizing you already have enough. And if you can truly live this way, you will be freer than kings, richer than emperors, and calmer than all the wealthiest men who ever lived.